ClickStuff is brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at luckydicecafe.com.
Welcome to ClickStuff.
Hey everybody, welcome to ClickStuff today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just want to let everybody know that ClickStuff is brought to you by trollandtoad.com, where coupon code ClickStuff can get you 5% off your HeroClix purchase. Our current contest with Troll and Toad ended a couple days ago. I'll be doing the drawing this upcoming week. And we'll be doing a new drawing with them, a new contest with them, with the X-Men set. So looking forward to that. And also, we appreciate anyone that can help support our podcast and YouTube and all of the efforts that we do at patreon.com/clickstuff. $1 and above helps out. $5 and above gets you into our HeroClix Discord channel. And where we have the monthly classes as well. So without further ado, joining me today is Jason Alvey.
What's up, everybody? I'm coming to you live from the Hall of Armor tonight.
Yeah, Jason's in at my house with me. We'll be doing Worlds practice today. A lot of spitballing and team building. And then joining me on the phone today is Alex Coos.
What's up, what's up?
So today's episode, we are going to go over Team World, our X-Men previews, and kind of maybe some pointers that we found for Team Worlds. And then we're going to talk about WWE Pack, and we're going to talk about constructed singles worlds as well. So let's just go ahead and get started. With constructed, let's just do constructed singles worlds first. So the thought that I have for this one is, let's just talk about a archetype and what it does a little bit, what the core of it is, and then what kind of some of the strategies with that team would be. So we'll just round table, I don't know, we'll just do 2 each, so that'll be 6 total archetypes, not all inclusive necessarily, but we should do the top 6 ones. So Alex, you want to throw out an archetype first?
I mean, should I go with the easy one, or like the top of the pyramid? Should I start there?
Whichever one you'd like to talk about first.
I mean, I guess we need to get the big dog out of the way. I mean, obviously the top archetype that people are going into is like a cosmic Kobik trader type scenario.
Kobik trader unseen, basically?
Yeah, Kobik, I mean, the foundation is Kobik trader, and then it's whatever else you add is just kind of extra flavor, whipped topping on top, but...
Sure.
That's the major, like I said, the top of the pyramid. It's if you had a cookie cutter build for Worlds, that's basically what people are going to roll with, even though it's not the easiest team to play with, but it is definitely not a fun team to play against.
So we've kind of talked about, so at least from an overall standpoint, we've kind of talked about what Kobik Trader does by itself. And that's in my last YouTube video. That's the July prep video, about, it swaps your items, and double tokens OMAs, right? That's kind of the 2 big strengths of it. Pretty much instantly knocks OMAs out of the competitive scene. But I think with Unseen, right? So the other thing is it plays a suited henchman, right? I guess that's a crucial part of the core too. Is it plays a suited henchman. So the trick is it'll swap your TAs, right? And then Unseen outwits Power Cosmic and Quintessence figures, right?
Yep.
So I think the recent development that we had going into Worlds, and we had this posted in our Facebook group, was Kobik Trader Unseen Zero Ring, Poison Ivy's map, or any sort of map with an island of elevated. So with the Zero Ring, you can do, in Trader, you can do 6 free squares of barrier.
Well, it's not all free, right?
Six squares of barrier a turn.
Power action, 2 frees,
Yeah, power action and 2 frees. So the one guy, your main guy does a free and then a power, or the power then a free, and then trades it off to Trader, who will do another free square of barrier. Or he could do a power as well. I mean, you could do 10 squares of barrier in a turn if you wanted to. But as in the barrier video that I've uploaded, that's not sustainable with just 2 figures. But you could do it for 2 turns, which might be all that you need. But so you've got to think about ways to combat this, right? Cyclops is not enough to go onto the elevated. So I think you have to play things like terrains, right? The jet or a doom buggy or one of the 2x2 terrains to block off that elevated. But oddly enough, the other archetype that's really good right now, Gardner, doesn't quite care about that team too much. Because it can still get free attacks off on it.
It just cares about other teams.
Right, it does. Yeah, I mean,
let's talk about the Gardner. Explain how the Gardner team.
Well, we'll go to Gardner. But like other ways to just combat the team. I mean, if you're playing like the Mystical Black Adam with a Tri-Sentinel, you're not terribly worried about, you'll do the Tri-Sentinel damage, or Black Adam can just bust through it with his free movement and sidestep and get a shot off, right? I mean, that's important. I mean, Cyclops is relevant. Multiple attacked figures are relevant.
Kirk Uhura.
Yeah, that one's completely relevant. So, it's one of those things that it comes down to, for me, it comes down to your maps, and it comes down to like that small last 10%, last 5 to 7.5% of a build, so 10 to 20 points that you can tweak to make your matchup better against barrier. I think I've probably been one of the most consistent proponents that barrier always is there. And that you can just auto lose to a barrier team if you're not ready for it. Whether that's Gordon's, whether that was Green Lanterns, and now the Zero Ring, those things exist. And between King's Tomb, Star Trek Underground, Hanging Island, there's a lot of maps that are rather abusive for barrier. So you have to be thinking about maps and barrier placement and just be ready for it. So this may be crazy talk here, but does this whole barrier idea actually make Unseen Smoke Cloud or other characters with Smoke Cloud somewhat relevant? Well, it depends on who gets to place barrier first.
Right.
So
I'm just saying, if you went first, you could go over there and Smoke Cloud the elevated, so that way they can't put the barrier down to begin with.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, so Unseen and Nightbringer and things like that actually become relevant. I mean, Nightbringer's already relevant. So, yeah, I mean, multiple attacks, being able to bust through the barrier. All of those things are going to be relevant. So I think you've got to be prepped for that going into Worlds. So Gardner. So let's talk about Gardner. But yeah, I like the smoke cloud idea, Alex, especially Nightbringer or Unseen Smoke.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting like, all right, I'm gonna pack a team with some smoke cloud figures, but if you have Unseen and Nightbringer, I mean, you automatically have some, and I don't know, there may be a call out that has it aside. I don't know. I haven't actually. This literally came to me 5 seconds ago.
No, like you've got like things like Nightshade, like that Nate White's playing. Unseen and then Nightbringer Ring are going to be your most consistent good figures with Smoke Cloud, because you just don't want to play a bad figure with Smoke Cloud.
Yeah, there's no Dust ID, unfortunately.
Yeah, no Dust ID.
I mean, it in a roundabout way, I mean, it's not reliable, but the Batman Trouble Alert, maybe.
Yeah, Batman Trouble Alert.
Because you have to do it anyway to give him a worse idea token.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a terrible idea, but if you have, like, an extra sideline spot, maybe I'll do Batman along with Firestorm or something.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Firestorm's still numero uno.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I like that. So, Jason, yeah, you want to talk about Gardner? So, what's kind of the Gardner build that you've seen?
I guess probably what Dustin Cedar's version is probably what's been the most I've seen. There's two Gardners.
No, he switched to the one Gardner version.
I haven't played against one, so.
Okay, yeah, I've played against a couple. So it's typically one Gardner or two Gardners, a Trader, and the Nightbringer Ring. So I mean, that's your core.
He was using like a double Trader, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was using double Trader. Yeah, double Trader, double Gardner, Nightbringer Ring.
Yeah.
So you got the Space Gems. You've got, and I played against Tim Bold in the Winamap that I won last week. He had double Trader, double Gardner, Tigera,
power to
Nightbringer Ring, and Q, and another equip for Tigera. I don't know, Alex, if you had his build sheet handy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, he had another equip. He had a Nightbringer Ring and then something else for Tigera.
I'd have to look it up, but
okay. Yeah, so whenever you find it, just let me know. So I don't even remember from that point, but I mean, something like that's cool. So what that's going to allow you to do is actions after carry, right? So it's your Sam Cap. You equip Nightbringer to, say, Unseen, or that's what he was. He was just equipping Nightbringer.
Nightbringer.
He was equipping
Nightbringer was the only one.
Yeah, he was equipping Nightbringer to Tigera. So then you can trader the Space Gem onto Tigera, who has, 12 movement or whatever crazy that she has. Then you free smoke with the Nightbringer Ring under Gardner, and then he can make an attack. He'll be 11 for 4 base because Tigera has Empower, and then you've got Perplex on the team, and then you've got Q's Dice, and then you've got double Time Gems.
Yeah, I really like that team.
Yeah, so you've got 3 probs, a die replacement.
He had Q on this too?
Yeah, he had Q Prime on there too.
Oh, wow.
Then a suite of IDs, obviously, like Beast, Cyclops, something like that.
Yeah, Beast, Cyclops, Rusty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kudos to Tim. I like that build.
Yeah, Tiger's just a great taxi for them with a 12 move phase and a power.
And a stop click, right?
And stop, yeah.
Yeah, so her trait doesn't come into play too often on this team. You know what? I guess it does. Because if she rolled a 3 somehow, you can use Blades on the Gardener's attack. Because Blades is just when you're... No, does Blades require a close combat action?
It requires a close action.
Yeah, it requires a close action now. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
We won't edit that. Just me just spitballing out loud here. So, Yeah, because you can't blades with hypersonic, so yeah, that makes fine.
Yeah, Dan's
during
not
a
an
close
infallible
action.
robot.
Huh?
There's not.
It says you're not an infallible robot.
I'm not an infallible robot most days.
Yeah.
No, I just got excited for a second. So yeah, something like that. So Gardner has a pretty good time being able to close attack that team, especially with the two Gardners. And then obviously Gardner can do his free smoke or free hindering at the beginning of the turn.
And he has no line of fire restriction on that, right?
Right. Yeah. But now the Nightbringer smoke, he does.
He does, yeah.
So you have to be able to find a way to pop a hole into their barrier and then pop the Nightbringer smoke. And then you're rolling on, what's her name? Kobik's big defense or Unseen's big rollout. Or just punch Trader, right? And knock him off of his switch ability. Yeah. So I mean, if you have Trader with his 0-click, which he will be, right? It's going to take 1, 2, 4 to knock him off, which that team can do. So knock him off his trading ability, and then their barrier ability goes down a lot. So on that team, it's pretty much open up a line of fire to the barrier team. Now, how do you combat this particular team of Tim's, that like what Tim played, or what Devin won Canadian Nats with, or what Dustin won in Texas with? I think it's pretty much the same thing as the typical elders, right? Mm-hmm. Shoot it for 6.
6, yeah.
Now again, Uni can do that. Gene can do that. Cyclops can do that. Lots of things can do it. Because Gardner, he gets to make his free attack all the way down to his last click. But now Gardner does take 1 less click. He only takes 5 straight through. So that's something to be... something to think about. He does get his special attack power 1 more click, typically more than the other.
Yeah, he has 4 clicks of it.
Yeah, he gets his special attack more than the other elders do. At least the ones that are typically played. I guess Collector gets his the whole way too, but
Yeah, I would say one downside to this team is the lack of any sort of retail outside of Q's weird type thing. Like, there's just not a retail where I might hesitate to run up and just smack your figure with my main figure because I'm worried about a retail. This, I could just, if I could get to you, I could go ham. So
yeah, it just depends. Yeah, Tim played like the Stark Tower map to protect his move up pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no leadership on this team, right?
Yeah, but all your attacks are free.
Right.
So you're not making a lot of costed actions, really.
Yeah.
But like Devin's team and Dustin's team have Groot and Flora on them. So there is retail and leadership on their teams. So I've seen some versions of the team with, Shade the Changing Girl. So I don't know if I'd call that a third archetype. So I think the third archetype that I'll lead into here is the... let's just call the Mangog bait. Is that a fair way to put it? Now, there's 2 ways to do that. There's the Kobik Trader Give You Mystics version with Sheriff Strange. That one's pretty straightforward. It's a typical Kobik Trader team with Sheriff Strange or some other mystical piece. They switch, give you Mystics, shoot your piece, Mangog comes over. Yeah. Easy peasy, Mangog, breezy. Now, the cosmic version of that's a little bit different.
So what, Lord Chaos and Master Order?
Well, you can do the Lord Chaos and Master Order version, but also something like Shade, the Changing Girl. Yeah. If that team can win map, she voops all the way over, and then just kind of makes you wait to hit, right? So if you don't hit her and kill her with like an ID card that can get off the board, which he's got an 18 defense, 6 clicks. The special shape change that can make you punch yourself. And, 40-point IDs that she can call out turn 2, poison, perplex. So they bait you with the shades. You either have to kill them outright with an ID card, which you got to be real careful on how to do that. But if you're not careful and you mess up, Mangog comes over and promotes on you. I would say that version, the Changing Girl version, relies more on Mangog promoting than, say, the Sheriff Strange version of the team does. Although both of them can do fine without it. I think Shade is just more adept at helping Mangog promote because she gets so close to the starting area so quickly. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bad day if that happens.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, Alex? Anything to add there?
So I think another Mangog team that you'll see him on, that I don't know. I mean, he's not the main focus of a Minions of Thanos team, but he's enough there to be a threat.
Right. Yeah, so that's perfect to go into our fourth archetype, would be the Minions of Thanos team, made popular again by some guys in Texas. So that team build is going to be Ultra Chase Thanos at 160, Prez Rickard at 35, Isaac, and Mangog.
Mm-hmm.
So Mangog's at a 22 defense from all of the perplexes. That would be Screet, Thanos, and Isaac. It's got the Pogs from Isaac to do barrier. So that team's kind of shoot Mangog first and hope you hit, right? Throw out your 14 attack Cyclops and hope that it hits.
Yeah. It's one of those teams, if you're going against, you got to sit here and figure out, all right, who am I going to actually try to attack? Because Thanos, obviously, he gets a little nastier as you go down his dial. The Ultra Chase Thanos is who we're talking about.
Yeah.
He gets a little nastier as he goes down. His first click is probably one of his... You ideally probably want to be on the second click, not the first click. So you hit him, and you potentially only get him to his third click. I mean, that's still a good click for him. And then Isaac... You could try to go for Isaac, but if you get him to a stop click, he pops out all his Pogs. So you got to go for Mangog, who, like you said, is going to be at a ridiculously high defense. So it's one of those teams that it's going to be a pain to go against, but at the same time, that team doesn't deal a ton of damage. It is a slower play, you're going to go to time type matches, typically.
Right, because you're going to have... the barrier pog keeping yourself protected and keeping Prez protected and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you're hoping to hit on some of your pogs and some of your ID call-ins. And I mean, Thanos can go out there, but with all the retails out there in the world, he's less likely to just go crazy. And he doesn't have a move power, so he's going to have to rely on the TK pog from Isaac to really move him around. So it's going to be a popular team, and the guys out of Texas, like Kenny Minks and Matt Donham, they're the ones who really kind of shepherd this build in with their recent wins down there. So you're definitely going to see it. I know some people were playing it in Huntsville the other day at the Lucky Dice Regional, I think. So I'd say this is probably up there at the top of popular teams that you're going to see.
Right. And then you just got your standard sort of, well, not your standard, but your Ultra Chase Thanos Cosmic version, which they're trying to bait you with stealth. Or, I'm sorry, try to bait you out of stealth so Unseen can outwit your stop click and you get blasted. Thanos perplexes you down, removing your protected outwit. Unseen outwits you, and boom, you're dead. Now, I will share this because I want somebody to do it. I want somebody to play Ultra Chase Thanos with the improved targeting ring.
No, you don't. you don't want someone to play it, but
no,
if you
I do.
are playing it,
I do. I'm not playing it personally. No, I mean, I want someone that has I don't know what to call it, the ability to recognize that 5 points changes the Thanos matchup completely against the Nightbringer ring. Because if they have 5 points to negate the Thanos matchup, then Thanos has 5 points to negate that matchup. Now, sure, he loses his ego gem, and sure, he doesn't get the soul gem, but he's able to do stuff more so than just saying, "Well, I can't attack because I can't ignore stealth."
Yeah, and basically every team nowadays has Unseen. So if he has that ring, he basically, all right, I can see Unseen now and stealth, perplex him down, my Unseen will outwit him. All right, that's going to be a dead Unseen.
Yeah, correct, right? So, I mean, or just anything randomly with a Nightbringer ring. It could be a Gardener, right? Gardener could pop smoke underneath of him against Ultra Chase Thanos. So, I mean, that to me is the one weakness of the Ultra Chase Thanos team, is the fact that they aren't playing the improved targeting ring and just foregoing the Soul Gem and Ego Gem for a turn, for a round. Otherwise, it's just kind of I'm not going to say an auto loss, because that's not fair, but a really hard time.
Or you could just play it. You don't have to use it. It's
Right.
just there if you need it.
That's right, exactly. I mean, if you don't have it, just have somebody pick it up.
Break glass in case of emergency.
Right, or just give it to Isaac, or give it to, I don't know, Unseen. I mean, he can double stack rings. Just have Unseen pick it up and hold it, right, after he gets equipped with the Remaker ring. I mean, so totally that's a thing that can be done without a big deal.
Another threat to keep in mind against that Thanos, like we said before, this Thanos has Mystics. So you gotta be careful with that, with going against Mengogs and other stuff. So you just call something out, pop Thanos real quick, take the Mystics, and there you go.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, now to be fair, it'll kill whatever Retaliator comes over, but that Retaliator could die.
Yeah, that Retaliator can hit other stuff, but
Sure. So we covered Thanos. We covered probably the biggest cosmic teams. We want to talk unthemed a little bit.
Well, we have to talk about the big green machine, right?
Starter Hulk.
Well, I was thinking like Starter Hulk and Vulture.
Yeah, exactly.
that's funny. I was thinking Unimind. So
yeah, it's. I'll say this, right? I mean, I'll probably get flack if I don't mention it because I'll be playing Uni. Uni just comes down to, can you get to him? Can you pump 3 attacks into him and bust him? All the while knowing that on the other side of the table, at least me personally, knowing that I have 1,000 hours into Uni. Now, that's not. I do not want to say that I'm smack talking or being any sort of pompous in this scenario. But Uni's dial is what it is. You have to hit him once off of Invincible, hit him again to his stop click, and then bust him. With good attack values, getting through shape change, super senses, and a high defense and stealth. So it's a tough nut to crack, but you have to crack it while not having a bad matchup with these other things we've talked about.
Yeah.
Because if the Zero Ring just locks your piece out of the game, well, that kind of sucks. If Kobik Trader locks down your OMA so you can't go kill a Groot on Uni's team, or a Groot, you lose and you don't get to that table, then, that's a problem.
And we were talking about archetypes, and the Uni team itself, while it is an archetype, I think PJ mentioned this before. Like, he's just not a sexy pick anymore, just because he's been around forever. Like, he feels like the figure that's been around the longest, because he has.
Yeah, he has. I mean, other than say, Chase Green Arrow, but Chase Green Arrow was on the ID card for so long.
Yeah. So it's a sexy pick, it doesn't feel like a sexy pick. And so you're most likely not going to see it as often, but you should prepare for it. You're not going to face Dan every time. Like, he's not going to be the only uni player, but at the same time, not every uni player is going to be Dan. So it's kind of one of those, you got to prep for it, but you're just not going to see as many as you used to.
Yeah. No, exactly. So, and again, that's not tooting my own horn. I mean, facts are facts of how much I've practiced uni. And I'm not an infallible robot, right? Mm-mm. So I make mistakes too, which I'm trying to work around. I always try to work around that. So, I mean, that's pretty much it with uni is, it's how do you get the points and into your favor with uni. All the while he's going 14 attack, 6 damage at you with Side Blast and 2 targets and Mind Control and Prob and
Super Senses,
Super Senses, Poison, Stealth, all these, not all at once obviously, but all these different options that he has, and plus he's got a Lockjaw or an Unseen or a couple of Qs backing him up. Sweet ID cards, Cyclopses, all this crazy stuff, right? If anyone wants any advice on how to beat me playing uni, they're free to message me. I'll be glad to talk about it with their team. Seriously, I'm not even saying that in a joking way. I'll be glad to talk about it. But to the other green machine, the unthemed version, Starter Hulk and Vulture together. This feels kind of like Pat's team that won Nats. So 2 big attackers, right? Ock Arms on Vulture and probably Exospecs on Hulk. Randy Carter has piloted this team to some success recently. It's got a Mr. Oz, so that slows down a lot of the other teams. Bunch of Perplex. It's probably going to hit. Probably a Colonel Poison.
Was he using Korath on this team?
No. So, I mean, we can talk about the Hulk Korath version.
Yeah.
How do you combat Hulk and Vulture together? Or even Vulture by himself, like someone like Emily's team. I think you have to have a plan to steal the Ock Arms.
You need a map, I think, that you want to face him on.
And you want a map that you're prepped to face him on. I like that.
Because you're probably going to win map.
If you're themed.
If you're themed.
Yeah, if you're themed, you're probably going to win map. You could not, but you might.
Yeah.
You probably will. Barrier. I think the barrier teams have a pretty good matchup against him. At least being able to barrier on some map, advance, and then alpha him back. Just depends on, are they within line of a Cyclops call-in or something like that. Or maybe that's a turn that they do the 10 squares of barrier before they move up. So like barrier with Unseen, barrier with Trader, Space Gem up with Kobik or something. Do the 2 turns to get everything switched that away. That's a hard team, right? I mean, obviously a lot of people weren't prepped for Pat's version with Hawkeye and Hulk, or Hawkeye and Vulture. So, it's a rough matchup.
It's all about surviving one round. If you can somehow make it where he doesn't obliterate you once first turn immunity is gone, then you've got a chance. Because if he could just make it if you cannot stop his team once that immunity's gone, then you're going to be for a rough go. Because he'll be all up in your face.
Yep. Yeah. Jalapeno.
And Mystics isn't going to help you.
Nope.
Yeah, Mystic isn't going to help you with the new ruling that he can restack every turn. Vulture can restack his active triggers every turn, essentially. So can Hulk. So, I mean, Hulk, I think, is a little bit more easily stopped. But if Vulture comes in and is like, I destroyed 70% of your team, and then here comes Hulk to finish it out.
Yeah.
So, it all depends.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's not easy to survive that.
It's not easy to survive it, but if you can survive it,
Yeah.
then you likely win.
Yeah, they're not horribly hard to kill if you can get through that to begin with.
Right. Yeah. So, like, Orange Cube on Kobik, maybe. Colossus Call In, maybe.
Professor X, if they're not running something to give them Battle Fury.
Yeah, if they're not running Colonel Poison, Professor X or Shape Change is fairly reasonable. Q on some of these teams will be...
Trey Lane.
Yeah, Q and Trey Lane will be useful. Although I don't think that that's a hard counter, because I don't think that Q is that good yet. It pains me to say that, because he is good, but I'm just... Jay wants to be on soon and talk about Q, so I won't bag on Q anymore tonight.
So do we need to talk about the fact that he can... What come up recently with he can replace the die?
Well, I mean,
for
I
all the
think
rerolls now?
everybody missed the ruling in the rule book that says once all dice re-rolling is done, Q's replacement comes after probs. So if Q replaces you, you can't prob it anymore. So if you want to, I mean, it's in the rule book.
I know, but
Nobody knew that until now.
Yeah, apparently nobody just thought about it. So.
Which, I mean, keep in mind with the Hulk and the Vulture teams, their attack is going to be so high, unless they rolls a die with a 1 and you have a 1 on Q, they're probably still going to hit, even if you have, like, a 2. Like, even if they roll a 3, Vulture and Hulk is probably still going to hit.
That's very possible, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you're helping is being able to roll out.
Super senses and stuff, and shape change, yeah.
You can't do shape change, but super senses, for
Sorry.
sure.
Yeah.
So, there was one other unthemed one I wanted to talk about. Now my thoughts are leaving me.
Well, while he thinks about that, let's go to Jason. Jason, is there any hope of seeing any sort of X-Men team?
Man, I think it's an uphill battle, man. I really do. They haven't got any help at all.
It's on the horizon.
I mean, they got some new call-ins now, but it's not enough. Like the Wolverine Swarm, it has so much trouble with mind control, and right now I think, and stealth is a problem for like most of your ranged pieces that are on that team. Yeah. I mean, they can still win games. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's gonna be a hard time if you're gonna play that all day at Worlds. I think mind control is really prevalent right now.
Yeah.
And they don't have a good way to get through something like shape change on Kobik. I mean, they're not always gonna roll that, but I mean, if they do, you're just out of luck.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to X-Men Swarm would probably be a bit better if the Joker's gas canister hadn't retired.
Yeah, you could put that on a Wolverine.
Yeah.
And go through that, and you still got super. Cyclops is great against the super senses pieces, but then you pack a shape change on top of it. It's just tough. They got a lot of good tools that are going to be legal, but they're not going to be legal for Worlds.
Yeah. We'll talk about that with X-Men here in a little bit. I mean, I would say we will talk about that with X-Men during our set review.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried it. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame, because this could potentially, most likely, be the last Worlds that Xavier School is legal.
Yeah, it will be the last Worlds that Xavier School is legal.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to retire at what?
It'll be July 1st or whatever.
Yeah, right after Worlds, right? I mean, after Nationals, right? So,
right.
So they'll have one more hurrah at Nats, but
yeah. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of good stuff coming to help that team out in this set. But we don't want to get into that at the moment. But yeah, there's nothing right now that's just helping them out a whole lot.
Yeah, unfortunately. And to be fair, we've practiced that quite a bit, right, Jason?
Yeah, we have.
Now, real quick, are we still talking about archetypes? Because are we going to mention the mystical teams we got rolling around?
Yeah, I mean,
in the background?
I can't think of one of the last. I mean, there's other archetypes, right? There's still the OMA. There's the
Black Panther,
Black Panther Infinity Cop. We talked about that last episode as being probably the cheapest meta team.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. With those new 40-point IDs, the Cop can call out.
Yeah.
Those are all good options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can play like
Psylocke, Beast, Kitty Pryde.
Well, you could play like Beast. I was thinking something like Beast, Kitty, Venom symbiote.
Yeah.
And probably be fine with that team.
Starro's still out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, right? Like, if I was to just go rapid fire, right?
I mean, we didn't even mention, like, Astronomer.
Right, like, Astronomer shoots you for a bunch of damage. He's a giant turret. Avoid the giant turret. Black Adam. Tons of mobility on Black Adam. Like I said, George took me to the limit in the Tuesday night win-a-map with Black Adam. Sheriff Strange we've already talked about, right, as being able to Mystics piece.
Tri-Sentinels.
Tri-Sentinels are going to be huge, right? Now, the Tri-Sentinels comes into play is that it good enough against other teams because it just has a fantastic Zero Ring matchup. If they ever make barrier. And then you're going to play a Zero Ring on a Tri-Sentinel team, most likely, so that you'll have your own barrier. So you're going to be able to blow up barrier. I mean, it's fantastic. I think you've got to just practice your maps, practice your placement, and that sort of thing. I could probably look at... Let me see. We've talked about Regenesis like at length. So what I would say, if I think about Star Trek, if I think about the Q, and I don't want to talk about Qs too much because I want Jay back on to defend the Qs. I think there's too much Kobik Trader to run the super rare Q. And the same idea with running 175Q. I think 30-point Q's, again, good and bad. Good and bad. The other unthemed I want to talk about before we just list off some of the other ones. The Daredevil piloting the Batwing team of Dustins.
Oh, with the Elseworlds Robin chase?
Yes. So... He pilots it, flies it into the boxing ring, flies it back out, blowing up the Batwing, pushes Daredevil onto Perplex. He calls out, he calls out and pushes, or he takes the damage from
the vehicle blowing up.
The vehicle blowing up, right? Depending on how that rolls, literally, depending on how that rolls. Then it's got like triple poison at that point because Daredevil can poison, the ID card can poison, and then it punches with like 3 perplexes. Like Robin has perplex, Daredevil has perplex, and then there's still a lot of points left on that team for another perplex. And Groots and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like a Samcap team, which you're blowing up your vehicle to do it. So mystical teams that don't die teams like Lobo and Daredevil together. I think that those things come down to
you just got to keep attacking it.
Yeah, you just have to keep plugging at it.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get your walking woods most likely. A lot of those teams don't fill up starting areas. If they have objects, blow them up that you can blow up, like a venom harness or a symbiote. You determine where you can get the points and get the points.
Yeah, get those easy points.
And then once the retail's gone, if they have too much retail, you're likely fine to get enough points and just like perplex down damage on, like, say, a Lobo or something, to where you just can't do any damage. I would say that was kind of a note that I had from my Gen Con regional. I negative 2'd Uni's damage and his attack to prevent a mind control on an off turn. Because my Unseen was still left. So he would have had to crit hit and move and hit a lot of stuff to make Unseen be able to die. So, so perplexing down somebody's damage if they're out of IDs and they're only down to a piece. Just triple perplex down the damage. Easy peasy, I think. But yeah, so it's like dupes, Daredevil, Lobos, a lot of don't die stuff. What other archetype stuff do we want to talk about? That was a lot. That's a lot of stuff. That was 45 minutes ish of archetype stuff.
I don't know. There's other stuff that I've heard of, but I don't know if people are playing it a lot. Like the Falcons with the the Pick of Power Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, not a lot of people are playing it. It hasn't had much success. I've seen it played.
I haven't seen it played much, but it sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, Collector's still a thing.
Yep.
I don't know, Alex. You got anything? Other archetypes?
Scott played two astronomers. Scott Crampton played two astronomers and a vulture.
Another,
like mixed type team.
Yeah, I mean that's the same kind of concept as Nat's team. Just avoid the turrets. It's unthemed. There's if it's unthemed and there's a big giant astronomer, like realize the TK range, then the other range, and avoid it. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, there's obviously going to be some random teams that come out of the nowhere, kind of like Patrick's team, but that's pretty much what you need to prepare for. I mean, Kovic Trader is kind of the main one. If you're not prepared for that, you're gonna probably have a rough go at Worlds. Even if you have the luck of the draw and don't see a single one, all during the Swiss matchups, you probably will at the cut. So you gotta prepare for Kovic Trader, and then Thanos and all the other ones we mentioned. But those are pretty much the main ones I would say that you need to at least have mentally prepared. All right, what is my team doing against these matchups? You don't have to build your team specifically for each individual one, but you have to have a mindset of, all right, I'm putting my team down and I am seeing a Gardner Trader team. What am I doing in this matchup?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and absolutely.
It's all mental games. It's all mental games.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's go through X-Men a bit, and from the perspective of Team Worlds. Now, what I find interesting about this set in Team Worlds is we only have like 2 days, like Wednesday and Thursday, to determine distribution of the set. How many super rare colossals, how many chases and primes there are in a brick and a case. To me, that's always important in figuring out what you can look forward to in a team sealed.
The only thing we have to go off right now is Scott Porter's brick, which everyone brings in the question, the distribution of that. I think the distribution is normal. I think what he gets is WizKids knows exactly what he's getting, gives them normal distribution, and then all the other previews we get, they've had these Scott Porter videos forever. So I'm guessing they're looking at those Scott Porter videos and being like, all right, here's all the other figures we're giving out to previews. So his distribution was great, I thought. Like the primes that aren't primes, but because the B numbers in the set don't have the prime ring, and I don't think they have the prime rarity.
Yeah, I don't know. So
I think they're just unique, like Sabretooth, for
yeah,
instance.
I think they're unique, but I don't think that they'll be at a prime rarity level. So
Right,
we're talking
yeah.
about like the Danger Room constructs.
Right, because we have the primes in the Colossals, but there's
Right,
not
right.
primes in the minis. Now there are Bs, like we said. The
No,
constructs.
there is prime minis as too.
But no, what I'm saying is I don't think they take the rarity, like the slot. Like it's a prime figure. It is a B figure, but I don't think it's considered, as far as distribution go, a prime.
Wait a minute, isn't Morph Prime?
Yeah, Morsa Prime, but I know what he's saying. The B
Yeah.
the B side of like the Danger Room.
Right,
construct.
that, or
Yeah,
Sabretooth. Or,
I'm talking purely the Danger Room ones.
Yeah.
Morph
So-
is the only one that isn't, I don't think.
So, I think if I was to build up what we see typically for Worlds, in general, so where are your value pieces in each rarity? So let's just go through commons real quickly and talk about value pieces to look out for if you pull those. I'm liking Scanner. Printed Prob is always great.
Yeah.
And then she has some good traits. She creates progs. Tons of value there.
but Beast with that +2 perplex.
Beast, fantastic with the +2 perplex. Obviously, we'll be talking about him for constructed. Common Wolverine, probably not.
I don't think there's a ton of shape change in stealth, is there?
Right, yeah.
For constructed, though, yeah.
Yeah, for constructed, yeah. But Beast, I do like him. He's probably going on your X-Men theme team. And there's obviously pieces here we're still missing. So just go ahead and chime in at any point, Alex. So I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, while this is an X-Men set, you have a ton of Acolytes and Brotherhood of Mutants, so you might be tempted to make some sort of theme team out of that. So you've got the common Magneto that has the leadership, and the TK, which he could potentially... I think he could potentially use TK again at no cost, depending on how you roll. It's once per turn when Magneto uses TK. After resolutions, roll a D6, 5 through 6, choose one, remove an action token from a character placed by this TK, or he can immediately use TK at no cost.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So having that sort of mobility, he's 75 points, but having that sort of mobility is pretty good in sealed.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. And then, like you said, the B side, like, I don't know, depending on how common or uncommon or rarity of those B side Danger Room constructs, you could probably get a SEAL team full of Danger Room constructs.
Kind of a don't die.
Kind of a don't die.
Don't do much.
Does it just kills kills one piece on the opposing character SEAL team, and I mean that's fine, right? That's probably fine.
Yeah. As long as you win, that's what matters.
Right. Yeah, I mean, wins matter, but points do matter.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if your team all goes 2-1, you'll make cut. At least with the past experience at the past 2 Nats and at Worlds. So, wins still do matter.
Yeah, I think the commons in general for this set, because we do know all the commons, they're not... I mean, they're not amazing.
Yeah.
There's
Not really like
just
a power comment, right? Like,
yeah. There's just a couple
There's
that
no
are neat.
there's no Deadpool Cable, or there's no
I mean, there is a Deadpool, and he's terrible.
no, I mean like the
Like
cable.
a power
I know.
level of a cable. Or like,
I know
yeah.
what you mean.
Yeah.
I happened to be looking at Deadpool and thinking, wow, this is one of those figures you pull in your booster, and you're like, okay, this is going over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're playing him, you're probably already screwed.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately. So,
I mean, if you just look, I don't know, like the most offensive one seems like Wolverine with that 12 attack, and then you're just hoping to roll good on blades.
And maybe if you pull a bunch of Wolverines, you could run a Weapon X team with Deadpool. I don't know.
I don't think that's what you want to do, but okay.
yeah, I don't think you're having
that's your third team.
I don't think you're having a good time there either.
Mm-hmm.
Having your maps with you at Worlds, Team Worlds, is going to be important.
Yeah, bring your maps. Don't show up without a map.
Well, not even that, but just be prepared.
Well, the reason I say that is because we had some people show up at Gen Con, I think, for that 2v2 team seal, and they didn't even know to bring maps.
Right, yeah.
You've got to bring your own maps.
Yeah,
They're not provided.
And bring multiples
Yes.
of the main maps. That's a big thing, because you'll show up and be like, all right, I got my mock time, and everyone's like, oh, crap, I don't have mine. And so it's like, well, there's only one of us that could use this one map.
Yeah.
So bring your mock times, bring all your other main set maps. Try to have 2 or 3 copies of it so you could share with the class and with the team.
Yep, exactly. And it's going to be at a hotel, right? So you should be able to run in and out fairly quickly to put away your extra maps. So bring in your maps.
You should just know what you're going to bring ahead of time, though.
You should, but a lot of these teams, right, you should have about 5 or 6 maps that you're pretty prepped with. But anyways, let's just go to uncommons of the mini side. I think Cyclops is fine. I think I'll just go ahead and say this, right, because I'm kind of like struggling a bit on this review. I think a lot of the teams are just going to be the big figures.
They're definitely the best ones looking out so far.
I was actually going to say this, and I didn't know when to chime in. I think if you're honestly building teams, you start with the Colossals.
Yes.
Right.
And work your way down from there.
Yeah. So
I haven't seen a standout regular size figure yet that's better than those.
let's just stop with the uncommons, right, and jump to the big figures, because I'm about to just bleed my eyes out looking through some of these little figures.
Well, just wait till you see the long dials of all the Colossals.
No.
Scrolling through that, I'm like, ooh.
No, I mean, that's fine, right? I mean, so some of this stuff we still don't have a lot of, right?
So would you one-man army any of the ones they've already showed?
Well, I don't think you one-man army it, but I think the Prime Stealth Sentinel is 200 points of playable all day.
I think you would debate about some of them.
But so he's a Prime Rarity Sentinel, though. The 33-point Sentinels.
You
You cut out on us, Alex.
that could eventually make them.
You cut
You
out.
cut out, Alex.
Oh, sorry. Do you save any of those Sentinels for the leadership figures?
I think if you're doing that, you're having a bad day.
Because, well, I mean, do you see yourself building? I mean, I guess it depends on what other. If you pull a Nimrod, then you could put a 25-point Sentinel and a 275-point Nimrod. You could technically do something like that. It'd be theme.
Right.
But do you see yourself playing Sentinels just on their own? In a normal team? Non-theme?
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
So in general, you'll probably, if you find yourself building with those leadership figures, you might end up putting those on those teams as sidelines, so you actually could call them in or whatever, get enough friends to bring in a Sentinel.
Why the hell are these things 33 points? Everything is 0, ends in a 0 or a 5 nowadays, and these.
Well, I mean, so you can play 9 of them and 1 ID card,
I guess,
or something like that,
but
or 3
I guess
3 ID cards even.
Yeah, I think they just want you to play 3 of them. There's something about 3 that they just like with this. I don't know what. I don't know what 3 symbolizes, but
right.
I
mean, so if we just jump to Nimrod, right? Do you play Nimrod at 275 or 175? I mean, obviously it depends on the rest of your pools, but what are you looking at off the bat there?
I'd be tempted. I don't know if I actually would.
I mean, his
but
stats are the same. to start with. I don't know. I think you get an extra 100 points or something else.
Yeah, you probably give him a couple 100 points or something else. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just how reliable is that second trait of his.
Ooh, I know, right?
Like if you could test that out before Worlds and see how often you actually hit and the trait is when Nimrod is attacked and would be hit, you may roll 2d6. If your roll is equal or higher than the attacker's attack roll, Nimrod evades that attack, and after resolutions, deal the attacker damage equal to their printed damage value. So the question is all right, how often are you actually going to hit that and do better than them? Because you could have some games where it's like, all right, I hit every single one of those. Nimrod hasn't made an attack yet, and I've scored 100 points. Something crazy.
I'm sure somebody out there knows the math to that.
Yeah, we need to ask Adam what that math is.
Yeah, I could tell you the percentages.
Yeah.
But you also got to think, I mean, I guess you're going against other Colossals. So that's tough. I mean, I could see, I think the only time you play 275 Nimrod is if it's your like third team.
Like if you don't have anything better.
Right.
Like if you've built two awesome teams and you're like, all right, well, we still got Nimrod. I'd probably play him at 275 because I mean he doesn't have a move power, like a move and attack power, but he can still pick an attack power. He heals if he takes 2 or more damage. I mean he's still
But you're paying 100 points for 3 clicks. I think if you have other stuff, you've probably got something better.
Yeah.
Right, I agree. Between the 6 boosters, you should be fine. So the next big one here is I'm having a lot more fun talking about these colossals. Yeah,
they're definitely more interesting.
They're definitely more interesting. I don't know how good many of these we're going to pull, but
these are just uncommons that we're talking about right now.
Right,
so
yeah, that is
just
true.
Think of how many uncommon giant girl.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Pulled from AI in the uncommon slot.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting right here with Nimrods and Proteus and all of that.
Right. Yeah, Proteus
and I've got a ton of those.
Think about all those Jakars you pulled.
Yeah, I think Proteus is a ton of value at 150. And I mean impervious, 4 damage, perplex with Pulse Wave, free mind control,
stop click,
with retail.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of the Jakar of the set there. I mean, Jakar was just really good in Sealed too.
Yeah, because I don't think you'll really ever play this guy at 20 unless you're going non-theme, because he'll break theme. He only has Brute and Monster, so you probably don't want to play 20 points unless your team is already non-theme.
Right.
Which, when you're in Team Worlds or Team Sealed, your goal typically is, let me make all these theme teams first, and then go.
Yeah.
It has been the past few sets for sure.
Man, it's really hard to look at these, Dan, because I'm still thinking constructed, and every time I look at any of these figures, I think, man, Unimind could just hit them for 6. And I'm just thinking, man, this is terrible. And I forget I'm thinking Sealed now. So.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Unimind's not a threat in Sealed, thankfully.
Right, not this time. So, Exodus. 175 or 75. I think he is fine at 175.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he can double target precision strike. He can pulse wave. He can
do that more than that. He can energy explode with like multiple. He can energy explode precision strike.
Yeah.
Which that's good. And his leadership power, when he uses it and succeeds, instead of the normal effect, you may remove an action token from up to 3 adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with him. If you do, until your next turn, modify Exodus's combat values by +1. So
for
suddenly
each token removed.
So suddenly this guy becomes 14/7.
Yeah.
10 range.
Yeah, with 10 range and 2 targets and all this other cool stuff.
And you can definitely make a Brotherhood or an Acolytes team.
Well, exactly.
I like that he has, side note, this isn't really related to Sealed, I like that he has the Herald keyword. Just
That's
Side
still
note.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that like they actually like, oh yeah, we have this keyword, Herald. Yeah.
You haven't seen that in a long time.
We saw it a couple sets ago.
Did we? I didn't. I guess I missed it.
I forget. It was one of the guys that had Herald. But no, I like it. Sasquatch is probably the one you're disappointed to pull.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the green whale of the set.
Yeah.
Now I'm going back to AI just to see what other figures we were disappointed to pull in, because I feel like we're forgetting one or two that I remember pulling and thinking, like all the vehicles.
Yeah.
Like when you pulled the spider buggy or the dune buggy, shield flying car. You're like, man, this is the worst.
Or pulling like Red Hulk or Hulk.
Well,
Red Hulk
was
especially. Red Hulk.
yeah, Red Hulk was bad.
Yeah, or like Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy, or Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl. The Kree Sentry wasn't bad if you could get 3 of them.
Yeah.
Nebula wasn't that great. She was pretty.
Yeah, she's kind of junk.
But this set
Yeah,
doesn't have as many of that.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely
think.
more value in this set for certain.
I mean, even if you do choose to play him, he's not bad at 50 points. He gives you Outwit, which is coveted in Sealed, and he has he could charge for 4.
Yeah, and then use his Quake thing if he's given a power
he's
action.
not- Yeah, power action. So it's not terrible.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, one key thing with Sealed is that you want to have figures with lower point options, because the lower points where you're always scrambling to find something. I'm sitting at 240. What am I going to fit for 60 points or 30 points? So 50, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it'll break theme. So there might be a scenario where you use them.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I wouldn't be that happy with the Green Dragon either, compared to the other stuff we could have.
Yeah, I mean, the Green Dragon's fine at 150, I think. It's not great. It's fine.
It's not what you want.
Right. So let's talk about rares. Rare big guys. Cerebra at 75 seems pretty clutch.
another Outwitter. So yeah, that's a benefit.
Yeah. Or 150 gives you Perplex.
She could be your she could be your transporter for X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Carry around all your Beast and Wolverines. I like the Cyclops Sentinel.
Who could be carried by Cerebra.
Yes.
Correct. I mean, just from the fact that you can get a Pog, and the Pog is pretty swell. So, I think you play the Cyclops Sentinel at 150 and be ready to pop the Pog at any point. Because that can just happen to you.
Yeah. Do you see yourself ever playing him at 300?
No. Not unless it's just that bad of a day.
Me neither. But there's always going to be that time where you're sitting there and you're looking at this and you're like, because that's the ultimate thing. You're sitting here with these Colossals and you're like, do I play him at the max I could play him?
Mm-hmm.
And a majority of the time the answer is no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's good to go over which ones were like, yes, no. Cyclops Sentinel? No, absolutely don't. I think for Nimrod, it's a maybe. Cyclops Sentinel? No. It's a no. What about going back to Cerebra? I mean, you could play her at 300. And she's got 19 clicks? Is that right?
That's a ton of reducers. Yeah.
That's 19 clicks.
It's 5, 10, 5, it's 5, 10, 9. That's right, 19, yeah.
Yeah. If she had a better way to heal herself, maybe.
I mean, she's more of a team person, but I don't know. I mean, if you pull garbage, I mean,
You
to
could
have
do
a
worse.
colossal, yeah, you could do worse. I mean, 19 clicks, that's going to be hard to go through. She could be outwitted though, so I mean, it's a risk, but
Yeah. I mean, her defense values aren't that high. I mean, we're not talking about 19s or 20s here.
yeah.
But, no, I get what you're saying.
Bastion.
Yeah, and she's got a +1 attack if she's targeting the X-Men keyword. Oh, no, other friendly characters.
Yeah, it says other.
Yeah. Bastion, I don't think he goes at 300, though. He probably is 100. If he was a bit more stout at 200, maybe defensively.
And he could be the one that you put all those sentinels with.
Yeah.
Because he creates sentinels just off the bat, so you'd probably be more willing to put him with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's how many clicks? That's 8 clicks for 100 points. I mean, as far as a point to click ratio, I mean that's pretty good. I mean, his values stink from 6 to 8, but
Right. Magneto. I think you could play Magneto at 300. I think he'd be probably the first solid one I would say at 300. Because he's probably going to have a 21 defense most of the time from range.
Yeah.
and he's got that. Well, I mean, that retail won't come into play, but yeah, I mean, I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has that top dial, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can get him to call out, top dial, then I mean that's a big deal. I don't know. I can dig him.
I think this is probably
Nah, you cut out again.
most-
You
you
cut
cut
out
out,
again.
Alex.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I think he's going to be the most common retail piece you play
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
because his keywords match the main keywords in the set outside of X-Men.
Yeah, and I think he's fine like at 200 or 100. Probably 200 is actually probably the better play. It's the same stats, and you can fit other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he can. I mean, but he does the free TK. He does the colossal retail. There's a lot of cool stuff that he does.
Yeah, gets eye blasted.
Yeah. Rare red onslaught.
Yeah.
At 300, I don't think he's good.
I mean,
He
it's
also-
hard to. It's hard. Sorry, it's hard to look at that 300 and only see the 11 clicks when you look at the previous one with 19.
Right. Yeah, but him at 150, and he can generate a Sentinel Pog. That's going to be good.
Yeah, but he has 9 range. You can't shoot him if you're more than 5 away, and he masterminds with his Pog.
Yeah. That's
At
true.
300, you generate 2 of them.
Yeah.
So,
Right. And they have Outwit and 6 range.
and if you play it at 300, you're likely to be able to use that free Sentinel thing.
I mean, you could probably have a worse team.
You could probably have a worse team, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I do like the mind control. Not a lot of power cosmic in this set, though. But, I mean, I don't know. You got to hit that leadership, and I mean, at least at 150, he has that leadership for 2 clicks. So, no, I think you could do worse. But I think Red Onslaught is pretty much a standout at 150.
Yeah.
All right, and this is the guy. Next up, we got the guy that we got to preview.
Oh, Eugene.
Eugene Torbett Witterspan, the guy that got the gem of Kreatak or whatever, Sidorak.
So you clearly have to play him at 200, right? That's just a requirement.
Right. I don't know. I think he's great. He's a fantastic 50 or 25 point filler piece.
Yeah, he doesn't count against your team, so.
Right. So, I think he's absolutely fantastic for. I think he's absolutely fantastic for that last bit of team. I mean, Empower's money. That Quake likely not to get pulled off. Probably the best place for it to get pulled off is in Sealed.
Yeah.
So up next we have our Prime. So something you're not likely to pull.
No.
But if you do pull him, you're probably playing Prime Colossus at 150. Because he is stout at 150. Invincible, Colossal Retail, destroys blocking.
Deals you a pen damage when he does it.
Right. I think he's plenty of money there.
Yeah.
And then one of the bigger Sentinels can carry him because he's only a giant. So. But I wouldn't even be sad to see him at 100, really. But I think 150 is his sweet spot. Wendigo. I think this is probably the rare one you're disappointed to get. Probably like pulling the rare Red Hulk.
Really? He can heal above his starting line with Steel Energy.
Yeah.
He's way better than Red Hulk.
Okay. I think he's great at 15.
Yeah, he is.
But that's one of your big guys. That's 1/6 of your big guys being a Wendigo.
Okay. Yeah.
Here we go. We're going to pull 6 Wendigos in 3 weeks.
Well, then one of us is playing 6 Wendigos at 15 points.
Yeah.
Right, I guess.
There's 90 points of Wendigos.
Yeah, you could do a lot worse.
Yeah, I guess. I like him and I don't like him.
You wouldn't play him at 100 points.
That's rough. That's hard to pick.
Probably.
I guess it depends. It depends if you have a retailer. Because if you play him at 15, he's a huge target. Everyone's gonna be like, yeah, gonna go kill this guy because he's only a 17. He's got invulnerability, but you know what? He's not that big of a deal. Easy 15 points. So if you got a retailer, they're either gonna ignore him and go after the retailer, or they're gonna hit him and you get to retail. Right. So he's like bait at 15, I think, because he has no retail at 15. If anyone's bothered to look at him, so
no,
right. So what about the rare dragon? You know what? I could see you playing the rare dragon at 275 with a Sentinel. Yep, there. I said it. You heard me.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's got 17 clicks.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of end cap in the set to kill Vage Whedon either. She doesn't have to go tiny. She doesn't have to go tiny. She can just start out with the big dial. 19 invincible with shape change. That's pretty good. 175 is not bad either. That's energy explosion, 4 damage, shape change. I don't know. I think that could be fine.
I wish that she could somehow avoid unavoidable damage.
Yeah.
Because I would be tempted to play her at 275 with a Sentinel like you were talking about. Start her out on that human click, essentially, just to kind of move her around into position, and then just... I don't know if you'd actually want to push her to get back to her starting click. If she avoided unavoidable, but she doesn't.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know.
I guess they could just kill your Sentinel and just run.
Yeah,
But, if I mean, I don't know if they take damage. I mean, they wouldn't get out unavoidable damage, but like an end cap would still activate her.
I think the thing she has going for is she has the X-Men keyword. So she could be put on a lot of teams, and you can use her as a pseudo stop click. So I could see her being played at 75 points again on a team that has, I don't know, Dark Phoenix, which we'll get to in a second. Like something with X-Men team ability, have her on that stop click at 75, or that special click on 75. Oh, they shot my Jean Grey or whatever. Well, then you get to use her ability, and they don't take damage, and she goes to her starting click. So I see her being played that way more than seeing her at top. Mm-hmm. Just because that's how I see her being played and constructed down the road, is use her as an out for one attack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That she's one of those figures that you pull and you're like, huh. And so you like put it off to the side, but not in the Deadpool Wendigo pile, but in the maybe we'll play her.
Yeah. Right. So up next is Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix at 30 on an X-Men team is value. Or even Hellfire Club. Dark Phoenix may just go onto a 300-point team as well, because she can keep herself alive.
Yeah.
By continuously healing.
Yeah, she's like Wendigo. She can heal past her starting one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if she gets a shot off and starts to heal, she actually has a stop click there, right? She actually heals up into a stop click?
She heals into a stop click if you start her at 300, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is like worse than the click she was on.
But,
yeah.
I mean,
you could heal above that and have 2 stop clicks to have to go through then.
Right, if she can KO 2 small things.
Yeah, you could heal her up to like running shot, pulse wave even. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Alex?
I think it'd be tempting to play her at 300, but I think majority of the people, once again, are going to use her at 30 points for the retail, because it's just a dangerous retail. Because she could go to a retail, I retail on you, I kill your Wendigo or whatever little piece that you have, and because she doesn't have Colossal Indifference either. No. So she retails, hits whoever hit, and then she can then target whoever she wants to deal 11 attack, 3 damage. Mm-hmm. And so she healed up, and now she's on sidestep.
Or if she can heal up with retail, and then she sidesteps RCEs and then heals up again, and then heals up again, and now she's a hypersonic piece, and it gets dangerous.
I think 9 times out of 10 she's played at 30 points, because, like I said before, you're 30 to 20 is where you're typically sitting with the SEAL team, and you're like, man, I just need another AIM guy. I need another 20 to 30 point figure to fit on here. So I think you're most likely playing her at 30 just to be a huge threat. Because she has imperv on her stop click.
Right.
So unless your person does penetrating, which I don't know how many people in the set actually do outside the Colossals. Mm-hmm.
So she's a super rare, so in Realms she's not as a super rare. But she was previewed as a super rare. Kuroka. Kuroka just has Colossal Retail for like all of its dial.
Just about.
My Kuroka.
Maybe 150.
All right, cool. Sidestep poison. Yeah. No range. He probably is a super rare that you're like, man, he looks sweet, but he is gonna stay in his box, and he's gonna go over there in my bag.
Yeah, honestly, he's probably the Groot of AI sealed. Yeah, I mean, because if Groot was one of your super, I mean, Groot's fantastic, but playing Groot at 150 points or whatever was not a good time.
But you'd still play Groot at 20 though.
Yeah,
You won't play Krakoa or whatever on 70.
Right. Yeah.
that's fair. I mean, he's worse. I get it.
He's a cool fig. He's one people have been wanting, and he looks cool.
Yeah.
And he might be cool down the road in constructed. I just don't see it in sealed. It just looks bad.
All right, Shadow King. Phasing teleport, mind control at 150 with a prob with 3 bolts, 8 range.
Power Cosmic.
Power Cosmic. I can dig it.
He reduces penetrating. Man.
Can be
Triple
targeted
targets.
by 4 away. You know, he has the 5 away protection. Pulse wave. So
This is the Living Tribunal, or who was the other?
Lord Chaos and Master Order.
Have full range of the board. It's just going to be not fun. Infinity. So some of those figures that you pulled in AI,
Right.
and you were happy you pulled them.
Yep. Exactly. So, Mojo. He's got the 5 away trait.
Yeah.
He's got the
Making who anywhere on the map make an attack if you have enough tokens.
yeah. I mean, I think you play him at 75 and get the board tokens up there, and then voop him across the map and punk something. Like use his sidestep to pick up a light so that he can go over and smash somebody with a light object and at least do 4 damage to him.
Well, he does have perplex on that too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can go 12 attack,
Yeah.
4 damage with a light. So, you know, remember, that's another good sealed tip is just always remember to pack your objects and then always play 3 lights because that's your 0 range pieces can at least do 6 range, 2 damage.
Very true.
All right, and then the last one that we have previewed is Iceman. Iceman's money.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah.
He's going to cost money, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to cost money. At 100 points, he's 11 movement, charge, 12 attack, 3 damage, outwit with blades. And then when he KOs a giant or a colossal, he can keep doing it.
He's Colossal Vulture.
Yep,
Colossal.
he's a colossal vulture. He's Voltron. His end cap is close attack and end cap, and just I don't know what else he doesn't have. He's badass.
Yep. 7.
He's
10.
got X-Men keyword. Rock and roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to go back to what we were talking about before, I don't think you play him at 300. I mean, the 13 attack is tempting, but he's a charging piece, so you're going to have to take a couple turns to get up there, which means they could take a couple turns to shoot you. So he's more of a 100 point, 15 point, maybe 200 point, but at 300 I think is a bad move just because.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
To go back on your point real quick, Dark Phoenix I believe is a rare.
really,
Yeah, her icon, you know, the thing that the picture,
yeah.
because she's all orangey, it looks like a super rare, but the circle
Yeah, it's
below
just
her.
It's just the flame of her.
okay, even better. So
But she's listed as a rare here.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, never mind then. So
Even better.
Yeah, so you might see her more often than not.
yeah, even better. I'll play a couple Dark Phoenixes. All right.
So
Go ahead.
obviously the ones we were talking about, they're still missing quite a few colossals. So
Yeah.
we're missing, as of now, we're missing 3 uncommons, 1 rare, 2 super rares.
Right.
So we're missing 6
One being like the super rare prime, right? Like
super rare prime, yeah.
So I think what I would say as far as like the rest of the smaller set review or the smaller figures, I think our advice is focus on your big guys, then build around your big guys.
Little guys.
Well,
Or build around your big guys with
build
little
around
guys.
your big guys, yeah.
Because that's exactly what I was thinking when we were looking at all the comments. I'm like, well, I guess it depends on what I pull in the big guy. If I pull a Shadow King, I'm not going to play half of these figures. If I pull a Dark Phoenix, who cares about the rest of these figures?
Right.
Right.
Because I would say this set, so far what we've seen, is definitely beefier Colossals than what we got in Avengers Infinity.
Yeah,
like, by far.
I'd agree with that.
Because we don't have the terrain or the vehicles to kind of muck it up a bit. And even the crappy ones we were talking about, there were only like 4 or 5 that we were absolutely no or don't play it, which is pretty good.
Right. All right. Well, let's switch into listener questions for tonight. So the first question comes from Benjamin Norris. I think we talked about this. So how fun does the new Iceman Colossal look? Fantastically.
So quick question about that. I didn't watch that episode. Does he actually reference it to Voltron, or is it just he looks like Voltron, so everyone is calling him Voltron Iceman?
I didn't get a good look at it.
No, he just looks like Voltron. I don't think he actually references Voltron.
Okay. I was just curious. I don't remember that episode, which I should, but I didn't watch all of X-Men Animated.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a...
It looks more like it's like some kind of animal head on his helmet, you know? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was from the comics, not from the show.
It's not from the show.
I mean, Voltron had an animal head, though.
Yeah, but it's not that lion though. It's just something else.
Gotcha. I'll Google Voltron Iceman.
It was from an episode of X-Men Gold from like 2014 or so.
Wolverine the X-Men number 34.
Oh, that explains why I didn't see it. So
yeah. So I mean, it looks like the Blackbird was flying in on this comic, and he has a giant sword, and they're fighting against some big green guy in the Savage Land, possibly. The Iceman's punking some stuff. Yeah. Big green guy punching some stuff.
Yeah, he's just kind of got like it's like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, like, Zord, like Voltron, like giant robot thing, going with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Brian Poland writes in, how many Wendigos is too many? Asking for a friend.
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, I like him to collect, and I like him probably for monster constructed. I don't know. Probably get 4 of them.
He's mystical, too.
Yeah.
I would say in sealed, any more than 1 is too many.
Right.
Yeah.
For your collection, I don't know. Probably 10. That's too many. I think 10's too many.
I want to have a couple.
Yeah, I want to have 4 or 5 of them for sure.
I could see someone like PJ collecting like 20 of them just to be able to run a 300-point Wendigo team. That's just 20 at 15 points each.
No, gosh.
Nobody's going to do that.
No. Richard Leo... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, Richard Leo writes in, best Winegard Pogs, impact of him on modern and house games. So, I think, Richard, there's 2 things here. I haven't had a lot of time to think about this. I am going to write a Majestics article about it after Worlds. But the things that pop out is definitely Kismet for the Cosmic Enclave.
Isaac,
and then Kiro for I don't know how to say that. Cairo, the Green Lantern Pog.
Oh, the one from the Super Friends one?
Yeah. So I think what's the neatest about that one in particular is that it's an autonomous support piece, and you can get access to it by just playing Green Lantern as a Super Friend.
Mm-hmm.
Same reason, like in general, if you're just playing Chase Iceman,
yeah, you get the ice clones.
You can get the ice clones off of Chase Iceman without having to just put him on your sideline just for Jason. So I think there's just a lot of value there if you're playing a Jason-based team.
I think there's potential in Legion.
Does Legion make Pogs or something?
Yeah, the B version makes the chains, which they don't have good stats, but they have like 9 attack damage. But they have a movement power, autonomous flight. When this character hits with a close attack after resolutions, generate a chain bystander.
Yeah, I mean they can keep making themselves right.
What about that new Mr. Sinister?
Yeah, I mean,
he makes 4 different Pogs.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you want options, like if you're tight on sideline space, he would be great to just plop out there, and you've got 4 options.
Yeah, he's got a pulse wave Pog.
Who has leadership?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Is this one of the? Oh, this is the nasty boy with the Force Blast Pulse Wave.
Ruckus.
Yeah, Ruckus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's I like it. I mean, the problem is that you're limited by the number of ID cards and sideline space. I do like the Mr. Sinister. I mean, that's a good one.
Stegron wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm just thinking of figures that have multiple bystanders, so that way if you're stuck with only one sideline spot available, you can have multiple options for those 2 Pogs you can eventually make. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, and he's got the Hawkeye mind control, which I think is really his big boom.
I mean, would you play like Ultra Chase Thanos on the sideline to get a Screet?
you can't. Because window guard's limited to they have to be 150 points top
Oh,
dial.
it has to be his top dial, doesn't it? Yeah, he's just over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't play any of the Colossals like Groot or anything like that because they top out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a reason to play an Ultra Chase Thanos just as a sideline piece. To be fair, I did think about that.
He's just a tiny bit too much.
Yeah. I just want a reason to play Ultra Chase Thanos on the sideline. I'd play him as a Blue Flame if he had the Eternals keyword.
That would have been a good reason to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Ultra Chase Thanos would be a must-have piece. Nicholas Strife writes in, among the standard size characters, what are your must-play figures in Sealed?
I don't know.
We skipped all of them.
We haven't seen them all yet either.
We haven't seen them all, and realistically, Nicholas, we are, I think us personally on the podcast, we are prepping for Team Worlds. We are not necessarily prepping for pre-releases.
Yeah.
Typically in a set like this, we would be prepping for pre-release. But pre-release is only a week, and we've got like 2 days to get in and play this before we leave and come down. Actually, for us, it's just 1 day on that Wednesday. So, Alex, are you going to be able to get in one on Wednesday, or do you get one at all?
No, I don't get one at all. Ours are usually Thursday and Sunday. Like the store I run events at are on Sunday, and so it's like I can't even run it. I'm gonna have to ask someone local to run an event while I'm gone because I won't be back in time.
Yeah,
hopefully to run it on
right,
Sunday.
Exactly. So I think what we'll do for prep is on that Wednesday we will video conference you in because Sam, Jason, and I will have boosters, and then we'll just practice building our team Sealed teams from that.
What I would like to do is, if we could do this in our Facebook group, just reach out and try to get a general distribution. People who are, opening them for, I mean, we could do that at release, but also for, hey, you ran an event tonight and you guys opened a whole brick. What'd you pull? What were your distribution for Colossals and for your normal figs? Just to kind of get a rough idea of what we might be in for Worlds.
Yeah. No.
Now,
exactly.
I will say this: if you are building this for pre-releases and whatnot, both title characters in this set, they're both super rares, I think are phenomenal. Legion is awesome on either of his clicks. So he's probably, outside of the Colossals, my most desired fig out of this set is Legion. And then, as we were talking about earlier, Mr. Sinister, I mean, for 100 points, he does a lot for 100 points. And those generics that not generics, the bystanders he pops out, really good. The Nasty Boys. So if you pull either of them, you have to build around them. They're just really, really, really good.
Right. Richard Shaw writes in. Oh, sorry, I skipped Ben again. Benjamin. Yes, Common Wolverine is probably the new. You have to sideline a Wolverine if you're playing a Wolverine ID card.
Yeah,
for sure, absolutely. Richard Shaw or Paradise Clicks writes in all meta characters. And then Richard Shaw writes in, what are the best 3 maps to use for Kobik Trader? Poison Ivy's Greenhouse, Metal Arena, and Galador Promenade. Maybe a Muck Time.
Maybe Hedge Maze?
Maybe.
Yeah, because the whole free phasing for her with the cube is good on that map, because you could just go through the hedge, basically, call something in, and then come back. Be carried back with Trader. So I know Hedge Maze is a pretty big one.
Right. Michael Fitzpatrick writes in, Chase White Queen is certainly good, but not great. Which one is the White Queen?
She's the one that gives you, can't be shot within 6.
Did I just miss her?
I think she was in the Scott Porter preview.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's alright.
Yeah.
The Emma. Yeah, you
Emma
can't.
Frost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's too much being able to voop and get in there, and then you can still shoot her. Mm-hmm.
She's going to be great as a call-in.
Yes, I do like her as a call-in.
Because she could pop in, use her range thing, and target any number of characters who are lower point value for mind control. And then she has, she's going to be impossible to kill. She's got an outwit, which any call-in outwit's great. So I think she's going to see a lot more play in outwitter, or as an ID character.
All right, Aaron Young has a question for you, Jason. How would you make a competitive X-Men team for Worlds?
Oh gosh, I wish I had the good answer for this, because we've tried a lot of little variations. But the base that I've been playing with has been Lila Cheney and 3 Wolverines, super rare Wolverines, and a Cyclops. That's where I start at usually. That's what I've had the most success with. And you can kind of tailor it from there however you want to go with it. ID card, that last 75 points you can do a lot of different stuff with, but I don't know that any of it nothing just puts it over the top right now.
Right. Yeah.
But Jason, what about the Blackbird?
I think the Blackbird just gets shot.
The Blackbird gets shot, but there's just too much mind control for the Blackbird.
Yeah,
there's too much.
There's too much mind control for the Wolverines.
Yeah.
There's nothing that gives them anything to protect them from mind control. It's the biggest problem I've seen with it.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of anything that pick powers right now.
Darwin's not good against anything really.
Right, Darwin's not good against 85% of the field right now.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot. There's not a lot of clicks there. They're their own worst enemy against a lot of the mind control stuff.
Right. And even when you crit miss with the Wolverine on last click, you're still happy.
Yeah, because he just die.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a hard time with all the shape changes, super senses.
Mm-hmm. And even impervious. That's out there. The Cyclops doesn't, but there is a good bit of impervious out there.
Yeah, you can do that a little bit of ID call-ins and stuff, because you can get exploit from Psylocke ID. You can play a Sprite.
But the shape change and senses comes first. So.
Yeah, and that's way more prevalent right now.
Yeah.
I wish I could say it was really, really good right now, but I just can't do it.
Right. So Christian Bojan writes in, how good can Hellfire Club be? You know what? This was actually something that Richard Leo brought up in our group. That Black King at 100 with Prime Mags and Super Rare Emma from XXS and then 2 Tri-Sentinels is pretty good. So the Black King has the 2 stop clicks at the end. He's got +1 defense for every token, and Prime Mags gives out another 1 defense, and he's actually really good on his stop clicks. And then Tri-Sentinels do good. I don't know. I think it's one of those, like, maybe teams.
Could you run a 100-point Tri-Sentinel?
You could run a 100-point Tri-Sentinel instead of Black King, but Black King's a little bit more oomph. Has a little more oomph to him.
Well, does he? I mean, I don't know.
His outwit.
He does.
That gives that team outwit.
They could just kind of ignore him a little bit.
Yeah, but he's going to be calling in good ID cards.
And yeah, he is.
And he's got sidestep.
I mean, they're both 100 points.
Yeah. I can dig it. I can dig either Black King or the 100 Tri-Sentinel in there.
I like the 100-point Tri-Sentinel.
Right. Richard Leo came
There's
up with...
There's nothing wrong with this either.
Right.
Are we talking strictly for Worlds, or are we talking just in general?
I'm just talking about for Worlds right now.
Yeah.
Because I think, in general, after Worlds, it's going to totally depend on the Phoenix figure that we're supposedly going to get for Hellfire Club. Because I'm just not...
Dark Phoenix has Hellfire Club.
No, we're talking about this chase.
The chase.
Oh, yeah, that very well could be.
Right.
Yeah, even that Dark Phoenix, though, that you were talking about. I mean, I think Hellfire Club is kind of like on the good teams, but not great teams.
It's on the verge.
But after X-Men drops, I think it could go up because of Dark Phoenix, the chases we've got, the chases that we haven't seen. I think that could propel it to go further. But Worlds, I mean, unless you're a diehard Hellfire Club fan, I mean, I wouldn't play it. But that's just me.
You just play 5 Tri-Sentinels.
I tried that.
and call it a Hellfire Club team.
It is.
It did okay. It did okay.
If you want to be comically accurate, I don't know if I would really call a 5 Tri-Sentinel team a Hellfire Club team.
We all know that competitive clicks is not about comic accuracy, Alex.
Hey, you know what? It's a name theme team, therefore it's casual.
That is not always true.
Oh man,
that used to be true. That is definitely not true anymore.
Yeah. So, Matthew DePaz, with our final question, we will go over WWE Powers a little bit later in more depth. We're going to be at a 2-hour episode today, and I want to be able to devote a good amount of time to this. Whenever I had a little bit more time to soak it up. But no, WWE Powers, fantastic.
And it'll be good if we get some more WWE like previews.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because now that we finally see the powers, I'm excited to look at these figures. I hated seeing all these previews and being like, all right, well that's a cool power. I don't know what it does, so I don't know if I should be hyped for this figure or not. But now I'm going back and looking at him. I'm like, oh yeah,
get hype, get hype, man.
All right.
Woo woo woo
woo woo. That's right.
So yeah, I mean, we'll come back to that. We definitely want to do an in-depth review of all the WWE powers and WWE clicks.
I'm sure we'll have a whole episode devoted to it.
Yes.
Closer to time it comes out. Now I keep seeing September when it's coming out.
I don't know. I got my stuff pre-ordered, so I'm ready either way.
Yeah.
So let's transition to final thoughts, Alex.
Man, my final thought, I'm excited for Worlds. Can't wait to do some... I'm looking at all these Colossals now. I can't wait to see what Colossals we pull. So, I'm super pumped for X-Men. I think the artwork that we've seen on the boxes is fantastic. So, the light blue really makes me want to buy the set more.
Right.
So.
Jason, final thoughts? We lost my laptop. This is being recorded on the new laptop, so first episode on the new laptop. Lost about the last minute of this episode, so getting the new laptop going here. So thanks everybody for listening to Clickstuff today, and we'll talk to y'all next time.